right now, let's talk about Concord. Let's talk about Concord and get this going. So Smash JT, shout out to Smash JT. All right, he broke this story. And I want to make sure that Smash JT gets the credit. I don't know if he's in the chat right now. If he is, shout out to Smash JT. If he's not, Smash JT broke this story. All right, he got somebody from the inside of Firewalk Studios, which is a developer that is making the DEI team shooter that is known as Concord, that everybody has been roasting. Okay, everybody's been making fun of this game, and rightfully so. And I want to make it very clear, and I've said this many different times, because you're gonna get so many shills in here, and they're like, "Oh, you just hate this game because some of the characters are black." Miss me with that bullshit, okay? Miss me with it. You are completely disingenuous. I've said it so many times. This game is absolutely allowed to exist, but just because it's allowed to exist doesn't mean we cannot make fun of it, right? Doesn't mean we cannot critique it. Doesn't mean it is not allowed to be criticized. It's absolutely allowed to be criticized. There is no doubt about it. So we have a report here. It says Concord developer demanded co-workers refer to her as professor and pushed extreme politics and demanded her unvaccinated colleagues to be fired. Yes, this totally normal looking person right here decided that because they felt like it one day, that they should be referred to as a professor. I'm not joking, okay? This person is so mentally not great that they decided they wanted to be called professor. Hey, shout out to Smash JT. Smash JT is here, my brother. Good shit, man. A new report claims that one of the developers of Firewalk Studios' upcoming game, Concord, demanded her co-workers refer to her as professor, that she pushed extreme politics and demanded her unvaccinated colleagues to be fired. This new report comes from YouTuber Smash JT, shout out to Smash JT, and an anonymous source. Smash JT posted on X, Firewalk Studios, the studio behind the impending Concord flop, has serious internal issues. One of their devs, Lisa Brown, aka Wordle, came out as non-binary and forced everyone at the company to call her professor. She would regularly have meetings with cheesy phrases like teaching/learning with the professor. She pushed extreme politics, hated guns, and wanted unvaxxed staff fired. Smash JT added, "This is just part of why Concord is such a delusional mess. I found out a lot more about this studio, just awaiting confirmation before going public with other stuff." Ladies and gentlemen, let's make it very clear. There is no doubt about it that I 100% believe all of this, because it doesn't take much to realize that that's exactly what's taking over this development studio, right? Firewalk Studios is 100% ingrained in DEI nonsense. You don't even have to know what they say in order to know that, because just look at the characters they designed. Just look at the way the game looks, right? You got all these weird-ass design. It makes so much sense. It makes so much sense that every single character has to be ugly. Every single character has to have pronouns. Every single character has to have some sort of DEI message involved with it. It makes so much sense. In a subsequent video, Smash JT reiterated much of this information, specifically speaking to Brown, demanding she be called professor. Smash JT said, "The source was telling me that if people would not want to refer to her as that or didn't feel comfortable with it, then their job would be in jeopardy, meaning that this person had their pronouns pushed to the point of calling them something that they have not earned before. They didn't have any degrees or accomplishments to be called professor. They just decided one day when they woke up saying, 'I'm a professor now, and people should start calling me that.'" Imagine being able to self-identify as a fucking professor. Like, what the fuck? You've got to be kidding me. You have got to be kidding me, bro. Like, what? Are you kidding me? Right? Like, you have no degrees, no educations, no nothing. Zero. And I know what a lot of people are going to say. They're going to say, well, that this person should have just quit. It's not that easy, right? It's not that easy for a lot of people to just quit. I understand that some people will just quit and not give a fuck and figure it out later. But hey, maybe they have kids, whatever the case may be. Shit, now I want to be called professor. Fuck, if it's that easy, and all I got to do is just identify as one, I want to be called Professor Hypnotic, bro. Fuck this shit. That's what I want. That's what I want. But yeah, ladies and gentlemen, it's not shocking, right? And also keep in mind, this is why I say when it comes to the mainstream gaming industry, and listen, it's not even just the gaming industry, right? It's entertainment as a whole. We saw it in Hollywood, right? When you had people speaking out in Hollywood, they wanted to remain anonymous. You have people speaking out and now in the gaming industry, they want to remain anonymous. And even though I wish they wouldn't remain anonymous, I totally understand why they are remaining anonymous. But this just proves that the DEI rot is not as bad as most people think. It is absolutely bad. Do not get me wrong, but it is completely taken over leadership positions. And there's people out there in the gaming industry. Maybe there's a little bit, maybe there's a few, but ultimately they are trying to fight against this shit any way that they can. And a lot of them are only able to fight against this by being anonymous and giving information to YouTubers. And here's the most ironic thing about all of this. This kind of information, you know who this used to go to? Who did this kind of information used to go to? This kind of information used to go to journalists, right? Gaming journalists. This kind of information went to them. But now the people working at the studios have realized that the gaming journalists are just as bad as the ones that they're trying to hide from in their job. So now they have no choice but to give that information to YouTubers in the hope that the information goes out, which proves that they are even less relevant than we realize. If you got people on the inside of the AAA gaming industry giving information to a YouTuber like SmashJT, that just proves that companies like Kotaku, IGN, and all these fucking shill media websites are 100% absolutely irrelevant. They're not even getting insider information anymore because they're deemed part of the problem, which is wild. That's wild, right? In my opinion, that is insane. So this is where the mainstream industry is at. Shill media websites have been absolutely 100% busted, and they know that they're part of the problem. So now YouTubers have become the source of information, which is exactly what websites like Kotaku have been trying to avoid for who knows how long now. They can't stand us, right? Let's make it be clear. They cannot stand us. They can't. They cannot stand YouTubers. So again, also this whole narcissism thing about, oh, you're going to call me professor. Shut the fuck up, professor. You look like the professor of diabetes. What the fuck are you going to be a professor about? This shit makes no sense. SmashJT continued, here's where it gets crazy. This change, according to the source, had led to a company-wide enforcement on adjustments in addressing and interactions, meaning that people were required to address people how they demanded to be spoken to. And meetings from the Lisa Brown developer, when they had these scrums together at the office, will be titled really weird things like meeting with the professor or teaching, learning with the professor, which, as the source had reported to me, were not well received by the staff there universally. Yeah, honestly, that's not very shocking. Again, is anybody shocked at the fact that most people are tired of this shit? You know, have you ever worked at a place, and trust me, I know I have. Have you ever worked at a place that you absolutely know that you try to avoid that one particular person, right? That one particular person that you know is going to be a problem. Like if you even say anything to that person, they're just a walking HR case. That's who this person is. This is a narcissistic asshole who, if you work with someone like this, you just know that this is a walking HR case just waiting to happen. And you do everything you possibly can to avoid that absolute psychopath. It's a walking narcissistic crybaby. That's apparent everywhere, right? There's every single job that I've ever seen. I've always met someone that had a story like that. Gator McCluxy says for 34 years. Ouch, that's rough. So again, it's very, very much a thing. And now it's even worse because now you got to coddle these people. You got to make it a thing where their feelings are protected. Their identity, their fake identity that changes every day is protected and all this other stuff. It's horrible. It is horrible. So again, ladies and gentlemen, well, let's finish this up. Like many of the people at Firewalk Studios felt uncomfortable around this person, but also felt like they'd be retaliated against if they tried to speak up and say anything because of the overwhelming architecture of the company, especially when it comes to HR, was very left-leaning, he added, meaning that it was very sympathetic to pronoun bias and how people are addressed and exactly how you need to report to people. And if you don't give them that respect, then you're the person in the wrong. See, it's a witch hunt, right? It's an echo chamber. This is what they do. This is why if you ever work for a big retail chain, what they do is they give you indoctrination videos that you have to watch, right? It has gone well past sexual harassment. Now they make you watch videos about all kinds of left-leaning nonsense. And then they expect you to click the button saying, yup, I'll agree to all this ideology to work here. No problem, which is ridiculous.